Welcome to Candid Conversations with Carla. Well, today we have a special guest, Mr. Jermaine Mosley, my husband. And hey,
Hey,
how are you?
good. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
So, some of you guys have actually asked about our story of how we met and when did we ever date because I never made it public. And we're now here married. So meet the Mosleys, you guys. Um, well, Mr. Mosley, how did we meet?
We met on Upward.
On Upward. So
Yeah.
Upward, for those of you who don't know, is a Christian dating site, and um, I know that I actually had went on Upward because I thought I canceled my subscription,
Mm-hmm.
and for whatever reason, I was checking Upward out and found out that my subscription was, or I canceled my subscription, but my account was still open. And I ran into Mr. Jermaine. So, what was your story? How long were you on Upward? And
I was on there for a week. That was my very first time on a dating site.
it was your first time on a dating site? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And you had joined what, like the day before, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I don't even remember how we got like connected or like who like to first, or do you remember that?
It was one of those like if you heart somebody
Mm-hmm.
and you needed the paid subscription to see their message, and I didn't have that, so
I didn't either.
so
So I to this day we don't know how that we even got hooked up, or how we even how we were able to connect. That's always a mystery to this day.
mm-hmm.
But nevertheless, when we started messaging, I remember I might insert a clip here as well of our first messaging, but um, or I might. Well, anyway, our conversation was really, really good. So I decided to give Mr. Man my number because I don't know, with the dating sites, you know, it's just, I felt like if I give the person my number, I can get a real feel for them or their personality if I hear their voice.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave you my number. How long did it take for you to actually call me?
It took like an hour. For when I was nervous, I never been on a dating site before, and it was all new to me. So I had to talk myself up, you know.
To talk to me?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, that was irritating, okay? Because I'm thinking this is half the battle. I've already given you my number. What's taking so long? But nevertheless, we got to talking.
We got to talk and made the call. We talked for I think 4 or 5 hours
On the
on the phone.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow! I must have really liked you.
Sending messages back and forth too, seeing your pictures. I was like, man, she is beautiful. I was like, I couldn't believe her age, just how youthful she looked. So, um,
Yeah, so I just turned 48, but at the time, I just turned 48 this month. So I was 46 when you met me,
mm-hmm.
and you were how old? 41? So
Yes,
Jermaine is
45.
actually 5 years younger than me. And okay, so what else, sir?
We talked that night. I asked her what her favorite food was. She said Italian. So to break the ice, I was like, well, would you like to go out on a date? And she said, sure. And that's when I did the research. I said, well, let's find the best Italian restaurant I can. So I set it up for Friday at Trinity Groves at
Right,
St. Rocco's.
St. Rocco's.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fast forward, I was all for that because I'd rather meet someone early on especially if I'm feeling them, um, and get a feel for them, than to waste time like on the phone and realize that there's no chemistry, or especially like because um of my beliefs
Mm-hmm.
and all of that. So we met up. First of all, we met on Upward. Then we met at Trinity Groves, and we were scheduled to go to this restaurant at St. Rocco's, which is a very nice Italian restaurant. But you guys, my stomach was messed up that day. So so we meet up, and my first impression of you was, oh wow, he's handsome and he's tall. What was your first impression?
I didn't realize how short you were.
Mm. Was
Um,
that an issue?
no, didn't bother me at all.
Okay.
You was real beautiful. Had on a zebra dress, um, which is my favorite dress that she wears, and we hugged each other and we started walking towards St. Rocco's, and she said, we don't have to go there. I didn't know she was having stomach issues at the time, so we decided to go try this pizza place called the Holy Crust.
Holy crush, you guys. So we met on Upward. We're now in Trinity Groves, and we are uh, eating at Holy Crust. As we were talking in the restaurant, like what were you thinking?
I was thinking she's a beautiful woman, a godly woman, which is what I was looking for. Very educated, just your style, everything was just so attractive to me, and I was falling for you right there.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
So you thought I was a godly woman, and um, mhm.
It was just something different about you that I liked. It felt different. It felt right, and I don't know how you had felt at the time, but um, like man, I would love to see where this goes.
I thought you were well and mild mannered. I loved your personality, and I loved our conversation.
Oh yeah, I'm a very well, I'm very quiet. I stick to myself. I really don't talk much. So, but she brought something out of me. Which I love. So,
So this was actually the start of something really great, because I know I definitely enjoyed that first date. And we ended up meeting in Trinity Groves, which had a lot of other places to kind of hang out.
mm-hmm.
We kind of met up a couple of times, and then what happened? You started taking me on these really lavish dates. Actually, every day, Jermaine actually plans. And these are, I don't know, these were dates that I had never. I was, He treated me very, very well. I'll say that.
I just want to show you, treat. I want to show you how you should be treated. How a man should treat a woman. So I would do my research on these restaurants and these places, and I would send them to her and let her choose.
And it was always, I'm big on TikTok and looking things up on TikTok. And I don't know, I just thought it was so cool that you would just plan these lavish dates. So we
Mm-hmm.
ended up dating um for about 5 months. And
Nice.
this was from May up until October. But you know what I recognized about myself just early on?
Mm-hmm.
Um I kind of let you in a space that I wasn't even used to. I let you. I eventually let you, come to my house,
Mm-hmm.
to and not to come in yet, but you would actually drive way from Fort Worth to Crandall, which is like on the other side of the city, and pick me up for our dates. Why was that important for you?
So I felt like a man. That's how. What if a man truly likes a woman or and loves a woman, the drive doesn't mean anything. Um, it didn't bother me at all. I just want you to see how you should be treated and
Yeah.
appreciated. So, um, yeah, at the time I was living in Fort Worth, but the drive didn't feel. Yeah, the drive was long, but it didn't feel long. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was just coming to see you, pick you up. You did never have to drive to me. I felt like a man should drive to the woman.
Mm.
So that's what I did.
Okay, Mr. Man. And so, um, and the only reason why I wanted to kind of point that out is because it really showed a level of sacrifice because it was more than an hour drive to me, and then even dropping me back off, and then having to go back to his home. Um, so I even during that time, I had like a writer showcase, and you supported me in that, and you actually really um, kind of like helped me out with running different errands as well. Well, to speed it up, um, what happened? I think
uh, you broke up with me.
I broke up with you. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. We were, I think we were in church, and I don't know why I was here, but I felt like um, I felt like we weren't spiritually compatible, and that was a big deal for me. Um, I just had my own. I had my own um, perception of what that looked like,
Mm-hmm.
right? And um, did you want to say anything?
Um, I was hurt because I had not one invested so much time and effort and showing her how she need to be treated, how she need to be loved. It hurt, but um, as always, I respected her and her decisions, and I always wanted her to know that regardless, I was still here. Um, Nevertheless, so but yeah, it hurt a lot. Um,
You know what? The one thing I really want to reiterate too is I had a lot of boundaries. I was celibate, and I just had a lot of different boundaries, and Jermaine actually respected all of these boundaries. It which is the one thing that I kept in the back of my mind, and um, anyway,
yeah, I never forced myself on her in any way. I respected everything that she said, and I wasn't looking for sex or anything like that. I was just looking to be with a godly woman to love and honor, and hopefully marry one day.
mm, Mary, so
Mm-hmm.
you knew that from so that was your goal from the very beginning, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know, I I just remember right before we broke it off, right? And this is actually kind of probably where I was, right? We had gone to San Antonio for my birthday,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of felt like you were going to ask me to marry you. And so, um, were you? Now, this was like what, about month five
That was the plan.
before the breakup,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, were you gonna? So a week before my birthday, I had a feeling he was going to um pop the question. So because I had discernment, I was like, you know what? Let's pull back. Let's continue to get to know each other, and let's take a chill pill. Like, and what did you do? You actually had already bought the ring, right?
Yeah. About two rings. Um, and I just went ahead and said, well, here goes nothing. But I wound up not proposing. I still gave her the ring. So.
So you wound up not proposing,
Mm-hmm.
and you gave me the ring as a birthday gift, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. And you guys, I didn't know how to take that because I was like, hmm. Um, but I do want to say this. Jermaine had set a new standard in my life. I even though I broke it off because I felt like we were spiritually incompatible. Um, he had set a new standard in my life where, if someone couldn't treat me like that, I didn't want. I did not want the relationship, or I didn't want to entertain it. And so he was a great guy. I've always thought he was a great guy. I just didn't think he was for me. And you know what? I just kind of want to talk about that just for a little bit because a lot of times I've been in church all my life, and um, it's kind of like, don't be unequally yoked, and I took that to also mean that, I felt like I needed someone who was like, you know, um, spiritually mature, and my perception of that was, um, you know, someone who was trained in the word, someone who was, uh, even I don't know, like who knew just a lot of things, a lot of spiritual things, and but you know what, God, His ways are not our ways, and His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. And He may bless you with something that may not look like what you have envisioned for yourself or what you think God is going to bless you with. And that's why we have to take the limits off. That's why we have to really, really tap in. And because you know what? What I didn't realize, you guys, was that Jermaine was checking off my boxes that I didn't even know he was checking off when I got out of this mindset of he's not for me, right? And so, I had been single for years. So I've probably been through every phase of singleness that you can even think of. I was at one point I was preparing to get married. I was cooking for friends. Trying to, uh, you know, figure out the meals I would be preparing for my husband when I was in my 20s, and nevertheless, um, like sometimes over the years we begin to have this picture in our mind of how things should flow, or the person, or even the type of person that we should have in our lives. But we gotta take the limits off. We gotta really allow God to come in and do a transformation. Well, I wasn't here yet, you guys. Okay, okay. I just want you guys to know this. So I'm like, I don't know. I just looked at it. I was like, oh no, he's not going where you're going, and you just need to cut this off. So that I really thought I was doing him a favor. I really thought that um, it was better for me to tell him than to continue, and so prevent you from hurting you. So anyway, so we broke it off, and then what happened? Like,
I mean, we still saw each other pretty much every week. We would still do um, things that couples do. Hang out, go out to eat. You know,
but we had actually decided to be friends,
yeah.
right? He said do things as couples, but I was
Well,
not.
as friends, but we did it as friends.
Yeah, cause I was not. Yeah, I was not there, right? And I don't know. Did you? Did you? I made it very clear, didn't I?
Yeah, you made it very clear, and um, people were like, "Why you still? Why
Yes.
you still around?" This woman made it very clear that she didn't want you, and I would tell them it's just something about her, something that's telling me to not leave. Um, so I always stayed around. I always let her know, hey, if you need something, I'm here. Whether it's a ride to the store, we would go to her favorite Ross every week. I would bring her food, her and her son.
Oh
Um,
yeah, and I want to interject here because actually, one of the things that we did a lot was we ran a lot of errands together,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
So, I mean, we became really good friends. So we actually did quite a bit, and I ended up losing my job, you guys. I ended up losing my job in November of 2024, and so you hired me to do food prep for you,
mhm.
right?
Yep.
I began to do food prep for him, and then oh yeah, and because I lost my job, you started like mowing my yard and doing these other things that I no longer had the um money to do, right?
Yeah, mowing the yard, washing the car, just anything she needed me for, I was there.
Yeah, in hindsight, I just feel like this was like a setup from God, right? Because we were now even even though I couldn't see it at that time, we were now doing um like you know what I'm saying, like things a couple would do, even though I literally only looked at him as a friend, and so I don't know, that just kind of like caught me off guard, like you know.
Most people would think we were a couple by just how we were interacting, like when we were out and about. But
Yes.
we both knew, as hard as it was, to be her friend, I didn't want to be out of her life. I just wanted to be in her life and let her know that, I'm still here regardless. You know, Again, most people was like, "Man, you a fool." No, I just,
Yeah, because let me tell you why he's even saying that. Like, I don't know if you let people know, but like, I constantly let him know that, like, every time he would do something, I guess because I was Miss Independent, I just constantly let him know that, well, we are just friends, right? And then you started this thing where, like, he was like, "Well, I can, take you out for a bite to eat, right?" Well, you guys, he was taking me out to steak restaurants. Like, basically, we were in a relationship that I didn't even know I was in. Okay, I mean, like you started buying me roses again, like as if we were
mm-hmm,
dating, and
mm-hmm.
I was like, and I even asked you about that. I was like, okay, what is this, right? We're still not together. Like, how did you feel about that when I told you, or when I constantly reminded you?
Be honest, I hated hearing it, but I still respected you.
Yeah,
So that still didn't stop me from, being a gentleman.
yeah,
So, but
yeah. He first of all, I just, y'all, I kept reminding him that we weren't together, and should I tell this story? Well, I'm not gonna tell the full story, right? I even tried to hook him up with someone, you guys. I thought I thought I was doing him a favor. I thought I was actually helping him out with a relationship because I felt like maybe he was too involved with me, and I really thought I was being a friend for real. Like, but anyway, I'm not gonna go into that whole story, but um, long story short, it didn't work out. The woman could see, she even said, she's like, you know what? She's like, God has given you a blessing, and I can't help it if you can't see it and you're trying to throw it away. Can you guys believe that? Like, and anyway, we're going to actually continue this story for a later, for next week. And because there's so much more to this story, and I don't know. What do you think?
just stay tuned for part two.
Yeah, stay tuned for part two. And I'll see you next week here on Candid Conversations with Carla. All right.